Iron Skillet in the building. Side Dish Sunday. We got special guest Alfie Blue with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
The usual Shatora Lane, T. Clem, myself, Bullwhip. Today, I want to discuss movie soundtracks and how times have changed a little bit. You know, you don't see a lot of original soundtracks anymore. In fact, like back in the day when we were, in the 90s and early 2000s, like I feel like an original movie soundtrack kind of really made the movie. I don't want to say made the movie, but it brought another element to it, to where you were excited about it. Right. You were excited to go get the soundtrack for it because that's where the only place you could find those songs.
Right.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I feel like you don't get that as much. You still do sometimes. In fact, the newest one that I could think of would be like Black Panther.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other ones.
When you brought it up, that was the only one that came to my mind.
As of late, right?
Yeah.
I immediately think of Fast and Furious.
Now, Fast and the Furious is one how they have like coined themselves for that. I feel like all of their movies have had original soundtracks, at least the majority, and even as of late, because Lil Skies was on one of the newer ones. They had the Wiz song.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been good that they've had their actors have been like actual recording artists. They've had Ludacris.
Well, that too.
Yeah,
that's true.
So maybe that does play a factor into it.
Yeah.
And a lot, and when I had this discussion about this, a lot of the movie soundtracks that we were thinking of were more hip hop based or hip hop culture. And outside of that, it was hard for us to pick an original soundtrack unless you go with like a Disney movie or a cartoon to where they have original soundtracks. And one of the biggest cartoon Disney movies that I could think of with a soundtrack is Tarzan.
Tarzan was good.
And you want to know what's crazy about that is it was all Phil Collins.
Phil Collins is the GOAT.
Phil Collins did that whole soundtrack, and I think there's a couple songs at the end that are like musical compositions from another musician. But fun fact, NSYNC is actually on that album featured with Phil Collins.
Damn.
Yeah,
I know. I didn't know until I looked it up, but Phil Collins is one of the
You're doing
goats.
background work?
Bro, I mean, well, when we decided to do the side dish, I had to do a little bit of research,
Respect.
And then outside of that, another big movie that we came up with was Titanic. So I did my research on that because, of course, the Celine Dion song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, James Horner did the whole soundtrack, right? Celine Dion is the only vocalist on there. I think there's another vocalist, but like it's like more of compositions and stuff. So I want to open this discussion up that we can reminisce on these cool soundtracks that came with movies.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what y'all grew up on and some that you were excited about.
I mean, I feel like everyone's gonna have this on their list. Space Jam was like definitely mine, but
of course
I had the cassette tape.
Oh yeah,
with the Walkman, and I literally would sit in my room, and I would just be headphones on, like just jamming to the soundtrack of Space Jam, like rewind, replay, like it was. I was obsessed with that soundtrack.
I need to fact check this one, but I'm almost positive that Wu-Tang was on there. Nope. Okay, it was Busta, Method, LL Cool J, Coolio. They had a song. I think RZA produced it. Hit 'Em High.
Mm-hmm.
That
soundtrack was fire,
bro. Man, they had everybody. Biz Markie, Jay-Z was on there, R. Kelly. But look, another hip-hop culture.
Speaking of basketball movies, Like Mike.
Like Mike was a good one.
Yeah, I was never big on that.
Are you kidding me?
I wasn't a big Bow Wow fan. It was a big turnoff for me. I don't know.
I made my mom drive me to Circuit City to buy that. Buy that soundtrack, Like Mike soundtrack, and then we went to Walmart and I bought a new basketball.
All right, name a song off of it.
I don't remember. Lil Bow Wow.
My mind like all the time.
Yeah, like
that. I just want to take you home. That was fire. And also, you didn't put your Nikes on and tie them and close your eyes and say, "I want to be like Mike."
Man, y'all are bringing back some dark days, but I didn't have a pair of J's or a nice pair of Nikes until I worked at Finish Line.
Yeah, but you could do them with anything,
Van.
any type of shoe, I guess.
Yeah, but, I had cornrows back then, so yeah, I was extra like Mike. Like I would put my jersey on, and I would get down on my knee, like I'm about to go dunk on somebody.
Mike never had cornrows. He was extra Bow Wow.
No, that was little Bow. Exactly. Yeah. That was little Mike.
This is a really funny side thing, and I'll hop off of it quick, but it's really funny. I was obsessed with that movie. Loved it when I saw it in theaters.
Same.
My uncle bought me the bootleg version of it.
The bootleg of Like Mike?
Yes, because I wanted it before it came out. And I was like, okay, I don't care if it's kind of not great quality. Well, it gets to the end where he's like, I hear you're looking for a father. It's like the movie cuts off.
Oh, no.
And I was like, are you kidding me? That was it.
What about the bootlegs? You got somebody recording it, and then you see people walking by like that.
But that was just a fun side story about Like Mike.
Alfie, let me hear some that you grew up on.
Well, the initial one I wrote down was Idlewild. A lot of that was written by Outkast. They wrote the whole thing, and I used to bump that one all the time. I think one of the songs in there was Metronomia or Metrochromia or something like that. It was like talking about time and like how it applies to the the movie, and that blew my mind.
Snoop was on there. Wayne was on that.
They had a whole bunch
soundtrack.
Then Guava Island recently with Childish Gambino.
Riri.
Exactly. That was I think that was probably like 2 years ago that he dropped that, and he actually released a whole movie in addition to it on Amazon Prime.
That.
You should. It's a great little vignette.
That's dope.
There's one thing, when we were discussing this before we started recording that Alfie mentioned that I was like, yo, write that down. And what was it?
It was curation versus creation. And I guess the curation will be like putting songs together, putting songs like tapping different songs that are like mainstream songs and put them in a playlist to match a theme for a movie, whereas creation will be producing or building a song from the ground up to match the theme of
and that's what I feel has been lost in Hollywood is that I feel like nowadays they'll just literally grab popular songs,
Billboard
throw
songs.
them in there. I guess it saves time and money from paying, and I don't know. I feel like back then you would like I'm sure there has been a soundtrack that's been number one. Like I don't know which one. We're gonna have to look that up. But I'm sure soundtracks did go number one.
Probably
at one point in time.
How many times have you like went to go see a movie just because on the preview, the trailer, they had a really great song, like the song matched the trailer perfectly.
Oh, 100%.
Like I feel like a lot of they might just do that just because they know it's a good promo marketing.
I think that honestly the most recent one that did that, and we talked about it before we hopped on here, was Us, because they took I Got 5 on it, and you see the beginning, and they're like all hype, and it's like the normal I Got 5 on it, and then it switches to like everybody's getting hunted, and it's like dun dun. And they bring in like the orchestral version of I Got 5 on it, and you're just like, what is going on? That I feel like that was super, just super creative, and it definitely made me want to watch it. I was like, this is cool.
I was trying to find if any of them went number one. I found the number one selling soundtrack of all time. It is not one that any of us mentioned.
Really?
Whitney Houston's on it. It's The Bodyguard. Yeah.
Really?
From 1992. It is to date sold 18 million units.
Jeez.
I mean, I know she had her famous song off of there, but I didn't think there was like anything else.
Number 2, Saturday Night Fever. Number 3, Purple Rain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How did we not think of that one?
But okay, back to the curating and creating. Nowadays, you see it a lot, and it's like I feel like movies lose their sense of originality by doing that. One example, and this is it stands out to me because it's the same actors, Will Smith and Margot Robbie. In Focus, they used the same song during the Super Bowl heist or whatever you want to call it. And the same song was used in Suicide Squad. Can't remember what it was. It was the Who. The Who. Who.
Yeah.
CSI song.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if that was it. Man, it was one of them songs. But anyways, it's the same thing. So I feel like it loses its originality.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we're missing nowadays. Outside of like Disney movies and cartoons, like I mentioned. Because they're gonna do that for the kids. They're gonna be remakes, and most of those are original soundtracks. And Disney does do a good job of that, like you guys mentioned, Black Panther. They do. I feel like they had to do that with that movie.
Suicide Squad did have an original song. I don't know if it was
one. I think it definitely.
It was "Gangster" by Kehlani, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So now they've kind of condensed it, and it's not a full blown soundtrack.
Yeah, it's just
they'll
like
just get like a single or two just to promote it with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
For sure. I feel like there's some song. I'm gonna name movies that you guys probably haven't heard of, but the fucking soundtracks were killer. Did you guys ever see the movie Romeo Must Die?
Yeah,
of course.
Jet Li.
That soundtrack was off the chain. That one was a great one.
Wasn't DMX in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It was great. Save the Last Dance also had a really good soundtrack.
You know, now that you said Romeo Must Die, Cradle to the Grave.
Yeah, Cradle to the Grave.
Amazing
was
soundtrack.
Jet Li had those a couple movies with those fighting movies.
Exit Wounds.
Exit
Wounds.
Yeah. But see, those are hip hop culture.
Also, what happened to movies like that?
Yeah, for real.
What happened to movies like that?
Jet Li retired.
Man, yeah, but there's got to be a new one.
Somebody better be coming up.
Another
Jackie
one
Chan
that
retired.
Takara mentioned was The Man with the Iron Fist,
Yeah.
RZA,
and
that was a great soundtrack.
I think he scores a lot of movies and TV shows.
Yes, he does. He does. I believe he did a Tarantino movie too.
He's done a bunch.
Yeah.
He does cartoons. He's been on Cartoon Network. He's been on Adult Swim. He's been all over the place.
Yeah. I want to say I'm really going out on a limb on this. Y'all remember The Wash? I want to say Dr. Dre had his hand in executive producing that soundtrack.
I think so because that Snoop Dogg was.
That was Snoop
too.
and Dre. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Going out on a limb on that.
I would
one.
assume that they had something to do with. I mean, if
they didn't executive produce that, they done missed the mark.
I mean, I don't.
There's another new one that Takara gave me this. I'm not gonna take credit. I literally FaceTimed my sister before we did this because I knew she would give me all the gems.
All the answers.
Yeah, all the answers. But she's right. I saw this one, Queen and Slim. If you guys haven't seen that movie, definitely need to see it. It's phenomenal.
I'm not hip.
But also, the soundtrack to that is phenomenal because they're going from like different parts of the country. Like at one point, they're in New Orleans, and all the music is just like straight up puts you in that place. And then they're in like it's just I don't know. It's really cool. So Queen and Slim definitely had a good soundtrack. It was really well scored.
What?
Trav mentioned that he was watching. What was the Messiah movie?
Judas and the Black Messiah.
So that had the Nipsey and Jay-Z track "What It Takes," or what? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I believe that is.
I
mean, it's on the trailer.
I haven't made it all the way through the movie.
I'm assuming that they compiled it with the album. I don't know if they did a full blown soundtrack, but that's another single that they did for it. I'm about to bring y'all back with this one, okay?
Uh-oh.
Batman Forever.
That's
Kiss from a Rose?
I'm about to say, yeah, you got to put me on game for that one. I'm not hip.
Method Man was on that album.
Oh, really?
They had a
the
song
Batman?
called The Riddler.
Oh,
The Riddler.
Yeah. I haven't heard that.
I love that jam. Oh, man.
Batman Forever. You really took it back, man.
Bro, all right, here's another one. And this is like, it's different because it's a documentary type. Tupac Resurrection. And that's an interesting one because they took some of his old songs, they took some of his acapellas, and Eminem produced the beats to match the acapellas and then bringing in other artists to get on it. So that's another interesting one there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Also a great soundtrack.
Speaking of Eminem, you gotta throw 8 Mile in
Oh,
there.
dude. Oh my gosh. That was an amazing soundtrack.
Lose
Yeah.
Yourself. I mean, that was
And
like
I'm telling you, it's got to be a fact that was number one.
At one
That
point
had
in
to
time.
have been a number one album, like when it dropped.
Yeah, I think so. There's so much anticipation around that movie back then. Like I can remember that was when people really. Do you guys remember going to the movies and them selling out? Like literally, like being in a line
I used to work
outside
at
of
the
the
movie
mall
theater,
and
so,
being like,
yeah.
"Damn, I can't get into this movie."
Yeah.
Like it was like that with 8 Mile. Like people were really.
I remember the day I went and saw it in theaters. Like I remember the exact, just
Damn,
that
you
whole
were
day. I
lucky.
remember it.
I remember the first time I watched it. We were living in a hotel, and we done bought the DVD the first day it came out, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, that was a good soundtrack, and like that was
Macy
when
Gray was on there. Like
there's just so much anticipation around movies back then. The crazy thing is, right now the only hype like that I get for movies like that is something in the Marvel series.
Yeah.
That's the only time I get that amped for a movie. Any other movie I could care less.
that was the last time I can remember a movie selling out was Endgame.
Yeah.
We were in there packed.
Yeah. It's craziness.
Before COVID.
Yeah, it was before.
Before.
I gotta throw because this is in my house all the time. My siblings go off on all the songs from this movie. Dreamgirls, Beyonce, and Jennifer Hudson? Exactly.
You're good.
Exactly. That's my household. Top of their lungs. Hairbrush.
I haven't seen it, but I kind of want to see it now after
my
Alfie.
God.
It's a great movie. I mean, it's a good movie. It's like it has really a lot of good information about like the music industry, like managers.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really good. It's from like about that group back in the day, but Jennifer Hudson's in it, Beyonce's in it. Like
killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. I mean, it's like the production value in that movie is really it's up there.
Okay.
Fire.
Trav, you got any more?
I don't know.
No.
Put me on the spot.
All right.
You didn't mention Willy Wonka. My bad.
Willy Wonka, yeah.
Gene Wilder he was like a big catalyst on a lot of music in Willy Wonka, and I think even when they were creating the music for Willy Wonka, they were surprised at how dark he was going with the music. That's why a lot of the scenes in Willy Wonka go a little bit darker. You know, when they go into that tunnel, when they're going to the new area, they go into that little very trippy area because Gene Wilder was doing his own little trippy.
Did he write any of that?
He wrote a lot of that.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote and sung a lot of it.
Wow. Well, I know he sung it, but like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's dope.
I got one.
Leave it to Alfie to bring up Willy Wonka.
I got one y'all
Pure
won't
imagination
think about.
Go ahead.
Choices.
Yeah.
Y'all seen the short film Choices?
Yeah. Soundtrack to that was kind of cool.
Look,
Can't forget Bull out here.
That's got to be one of those like the soundtrack was made before the movie. Like the movie the movie couldn't have been made without the soundtrack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the soundtrack painted the picture for the movie.
Your lyrics were the script.
Exactly. Exactly. Man, I'm so glad you brought that up.
You're welcome.
I didn't even think of that one.
Say call back.
But that's like
I was just staring at it.
Yeah, it's just
the poster.
Yeah.
Genius.
I had said, and I just remember like being hype about this soundtrack too in this movie, Wild Wild West. And like at the time, Burger King, all the toys, the Happy Meal toys were like all based around the movie, and I was super hyped. I was really into that.
We're going straight to the Wild Wild. Drew Hill.
If you can remember it now, then it was fun.
Oh,
Willie gonna give it to you.
Yeah, me and Alfie done had this discussion about Will Smith earlier. I said he's the most underrated rapper, but like I love Wild Wild West. Men in Black.
Men in Black had a good one too.
Oh my gosh, that
I actually thought of that when you said McDonald's toys because that's like, or I think Burger King had the Men in Black ones, but like the little thing.
Yep,
dude.
He
had the whole dance and like, dude, come on, man. Will Smith literally rapped while he was dancing in that video.
Entertainer,
like, bro. That started as an MC rapper. However you want to call it.
When you say MC,
like,
I hear a host of a party.
Yeah,
I don't. When you like. I believe he's a great entertainer. I love Will Smith. I would never shit on Will Smith, but like as a rapper, like as a lyricist.
Alfie hadn't listened to much of Will Smith, and that's why. But it's okay. We're getting a little off topic here.
Oh my, Grease. No,
Grease.
I was obsessed with Grease. You guys probably don't know this. Obsessed with that movie. Obsessed with all the songs. Knew them all by hand. They re-released that song when I was in the 3rd grade, or that movie when I was in the 3rd grade in theaters. My mom pulled me out of school early to go see it.
Oh
wow!
I was singing every single song.
I hate musicals.
That's why.
Same.
You know,
you don't like musicals?
No, I don't like musicals.
Grease doesn't even. I don't know, man. It's just. It's
I don't know. I'm more of a storyline. I don't want to hear you stop to sing a song. Fuck out of here.
I believe about that in TV shows. I hate when people do TV shows do
like
musical
that
episodes.
One episode.
I hate that. But Grease.
Only one I like of that is the episode of Dave. The last
episode. That's
Dave.
very true. Dave killed that.
I thought you were gonna say Supernatural. They always have one a season in Supernatural.
But like High School Musical, get out of here.
Yeah. I can't do the musicals. That's why I don't like a lot of the Disney movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grease is on my list.
Aside from like Tarzan, like Phil Collins is that dude.
The Lion King, Toy Story.
The Lion King also.
See, and like I said, that comes back to most Disney movies have an original soundtrack. That's they actually care.
Even the new one didn't Beyonce and then re-record those same songs.
Yeah.
For Lion King.
Well, that's cool because well, hell, they already own the music, so it's like why not
Mm-hmm.
just give it a new, updated sound? Yeah,
no, for sure, definitely. Yeah, Friday was on there. Had Friday on there. Definitely, that was a good one. But I think we touched on a lot of them.
So I'm we done touched on a lot of movies from the 90s, even late 80s, maybe. Grease. How far does that date back?
80s.
Yeah.
Look, that's my
Footloose.
Footloose.
There's one. But if you guys got some that we didn't mention, drop it in the comments. Yeah, put us on the game. Did you say Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
Dirty
Okay,
Dancing.
see? There we
Havana
go.
Nights.
There's a couple other that my girl mentioned, but like I'm not going to speak on them because I never seen it and I didn't do any research on it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
If you got a better soundtrack, let us know.